Welcome to the Lockdown Show. You are watching the Lockdown Show. Ooh. So I thought I would have you join me on my ride to work this morning. So what we're going to talk about? Something which has been, shall we say, bugging me recently. There's quite a few people who've pointed this out actually, but the airlines are in difficulty and they're asking for a bailout. Let's talk about Richard Branson. £4 billion he has. He asked all of his staff to take 2 months unpaid leave. But now he's asking the government for a bailout. None of his companies are registered in the UK. He pays no tax whatsoever. He sued the NHS and won because he didn't get the contract he was expecting to get. And he's asking the UK government for a bailout. Now, I've been a lover of Richard Branson, well, kind of most of my life when he's been around. But the friggin' shit, well, he's lost my respect. Sell your bloody island that you live on and pay your staff that have made you a billionaire. Grips my shit, that does. It's unfair. Stelios with EasyJet, SqueezyJet, he's going to be doing the same. Isn't it interesting? Not one billionaire is really helping out the general public. Not one, yet we made them rich. They've all gone to hide under the rocks. Apart from those who are producing hand sanitizer. There's a guy on Teesside apparently set up a factory just to produce hand sanitizer. You can't argue with that, can you? So, that brings me on to another topic. YouTube. YouTube is full of bloody idiots, of which I guess I'm one. I guess I'm one of them. But it's enabled people to broadcast and showcase and all the rest of the stuff, what they do, and oh, look at me, and I've talked about that before. But one of the things that I haven't mentioned is the stupid things people will do. Licking toilet seats, jumping off buildings, other crazy stuff just for the 5 minutes of fame. I do wonder if YouTube is a good thing. I guess it is, because it's got a lot of instructional stuff, but God almighty, man. The things that get filmed and get billions of views, just beyond a joke. However, that's just a little gripe about YouTube, I suppose. But something which I noticed last night, I thought, yeah, go on, I'll have a bit look, I'll see what it's all about. Most days, I check the air quality in Jaipur in India. And mainly it says, hazardous air quality. Unhealthy air quality. And the air quality index, if you think that in the UK mostly we show 1 under the air quality index and 0 being totally clear, we've got 1. Jaipur is normally 220 and above. So it's very hazardous, and it always has been hazardous for the last 4 years that I've been checking. However, I checked last night, and then again I checked again this morning. Now they're 4.5 hours ahead of us, so I guess you're talking about 1 o'clock-ish in the afternoon. It's 66. The air quality at the moment is 66, which is still 66 times more particles in the air than we have. each year. 66 more particles in the air than we have in this country. But it's a quarter of what it normally is. A quarter of what it normally is. And you can't tell me now that human race hasn't been polluting the earth constantly for years, expecting the earth just to filter it out. And for it to continue to filter it out. We've learned in the last 2 weeks that the earth is breathing again. It's filtering again. The oceans are cleaner, the rivers are cleaner, the air is sweeter. All of a sudden I'm a convert to this global warming. Because if you put particles in the air, there's nowhere for the heat to go, is there? So as those particles rise, the heat will come up and it hasn't got anywhere to go. There's a barrier. If that barrier has gone, then all of a sudden the air gets a chance to circulate. And the global warming has got to slow down, hasn't it? It has to. It's one of the things which we just take for granted. We jump on our bikes, we jump in our car, we jump in our wagon, we go on an aircraft. And we don't really take any notice, we just do it. I also saw a graphic recently which showed how many aircraft are in the air. Normally, this time last year, over just Europe. You can't see the earth because of aeroplanes. There's that many. That is madness. Absolute bloody madness. And it showed an image of the aircraft in the air last month in March. You could see the earth. Yes, there was still aircraft up there, perhaps a couple of dozen. But the image from this time last year, there were thousands. Absolutely bloody thousands. Thousands of vehicles on the road. Thousands of aircraft in the air. And that's just over Europe. And within Europe. And we're chucking out this muck. It just doesn't bear thinking about, does it? If you had a big balloon, because really the Earth is like a balloon, isn't it? The Earth's a balloon. Hey, that's a good title for a film. No, the moon's a balloon, wasn't it? The Earth is a balloon. And we live in the centre of this cocoon of balloon. We can't get any more water on the planet because we're a sealed system. So the water that you drink now is the same the dinosaurs pissed in 65 million years ago. Filtered a few times, mind. So, the balloon side, and you put all this smoke-spewing traffic into the balloon, it wouldn't take long for the air quality to be unbreathable, would it? Well, it wouldn't, would it? I know we've got the oceans and the plankton and the trees that filters all the bad air out. But I spoke earlier in one of my lockdown shows that said, if man wasn't on the earth, can you imagine how quickly the animals would just take over? And they already are. Goats walking through a village in Wales because there's nothing to scare them. Crocodiles swimming up clear water canals because there's nothing to scare them. Being able to see the bottom of the canals in Italy with the fish because there's nothing to churn up the bottoms, and the fish just woohoo! I know this coronavirus is bloody scary. In fact, I'm petrified. But if you flip that card over, just look at what it's trying to show us. Look at how it's trying to educate us. Look at the earth going, please, help me breathe. I've had enough of your plastics. You're spewing out the fuel, the smoke, the exhaust fumes, the jet fumes up in the air, the smoke spewing out to the power stations and industry. Enough's enough. It really is. And it's time for us to sit up and take notice, because this is our only home. There isn't another one. And we've got to stop bloody destroying it. This is the chance. Grow your own veg. Bollocks to the big supermarkets. Bollocks. The stuff's all force grown anyhow. Tomatoes don't taste of anything. Strawberries are bloody shit. Bread lasts for 3 months. Enough's enough, in my opinion. And I could go on. But until the next time, I hope you've enjoyed joining me on my ride to work. Take care and bye-bye for now. Lockdown show. You are watching the Lockdown show. Ooh.